Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
We are back from our spring training trip. Quite the trip.
Good to be back.
10-day trip.
Long
Jake
trip.
just wearing it. Wearing it. I said this last night on Section 10. I was like, I was exhausted. But for all the time that I had to put in, Jake had to edit after that. I could just go straight to bed. So he put in the same amount of time as me, plus the editing time. And then he had a couple nights where he was just having a fucking night on the town.
Oh, yeah.
I think I had one green tea shot that trip. And then on the flight back, I had some espresso martinis, but that doesn't count because that was on the way back. Like, as far as alcohol consumption, I had one green tea shot because I was like, I know, like, I'm in my veteran years now, and I'm just not going to get up. Like, if I have a night on the town. Jake,
Jeremy, and Eamon, they collectively, and I said this to them, I said, they looked like Easy Company on the back of the truck rolling up in fucking Band of Brothers, just absolutely up against it. War tattered. I mean, you want to talk about disheveled and shades of themselves at that point in time. I was like, holy fuck, boys, I'm just parachuting in here for the last day or two, and then we've got a journey in the desert that we got to make. We're changing landscape, we're changing everything, and they're just, do you have any idea what we've seen? Yeah,
it's
any idea what we've been through?
It's been quite eye-opening to step into this new chapter of my life, where I'm the one that's going door to door, knocking on doors to wake up the youngins that they were up all night drinking. Me and Jayhay doing bed checks, being like, knock, knock, knock. Hey, we got this interview. Wake up.
So good.
It's a whole new world for me.
Yeah, hey, but you know what? But credit to the crew, credit to the boys, because
they rallied like fucking hell.
Because when I got back there, because I missed the night of bed checks, and I missed the morning. I didn't get to make the bed checks because that would have been, well, I tell you, I'd have been the last motherfucker you wanted to see in the morning.
Yeah,
at that time.
Like I didn't have to lock my bedroom door at night when we were in Florida, but the second that we linked up with Dallas, I had to lock my bedroom door at night. Like, it's only because of Dallas. Like, there was no reason for me to do that in Fort Myers.
No, you're right. But remember what I told you? I said, this is, I mean, you know that I can break into hotel room doors. And so no house is going to stop me. There's not a door in a house.
I forget what city we were in, but I fucking just like came out of the shower and Dallas was just sitting in the cuck chair in my fucking hotel room. I was like, what are you doing? Where were we? It was probably San Diego. I bet it was San Diego for the winter meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just come out of the shower and Dallas is just like legs crossed in the cuck chair. Had no idea.
But yes, this is where we're at now. This is where we're at. How the turntables. It is but you know what? Again, credit, because the rally and you'd have never known. You'd have never known.
No, you would have never known. No. But then we did the job. We came home and Jake banged out like a 5-hour nap. Like he got like a night of sleep in one afternoon. How long was that nap, Jake?
It was pushing 5. Yeah, I think it was like 4.5.
Yeah.
See, like, we need to call that there's got to be a name for that, because that's not like going to bed, but it's not a nap either. Like, that's your borderline intentionally going comatose for an extended period of time. Like, and I got nothing wrong with that, but we got to label that. Like, what is that?
Bottle that nap up and savor it.
Oh, God.
4.5 hour nap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
some call that a night of sleep.
You never would have known. Quality of the content, A+. The effort from everyone involved, A+.
Yeah, drama free.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to Jake for the driving.
Jake
from A to B.
Except for that day.
Yeah, I was the other. Yeah. Well, I mean, when you can wake up and blow a fucking 2.0, like that's we got to make
that's a true leader who steps aside when he's not.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Delegate responsibility when you need to.
exactly what
Like, hey,
happened.
I'm still shit faced. Somebody's gonna have to drive us there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not exactly those words. Yeah, more. Yeah, but that vibe.
Yeah. I would say in terms of everything that we set out to do, we did everything and more. Like
Yes. Absolutely.
We achieved everything that was on our to-do list and came back with even more. So I'm very excited about that. Vinnie Pasquantino on the podcast today as part of our spring training tour.
You mean
I
Shane
feel
Gillis?
like it was, I said the Spikes Up tour was a tour of malice and hate. This tour was about mending fences and spiritual healing. And boy, did I want to say but boy, did I do that. I don't think you guys had any fences to mend. I had a couple.
Yeah.
But they're mended, brother.
Yeah. No, I've steered clear of just telling people to fuck off and how shitty they are and how more competitive the significant amount of the league would be other than them. But
No, I didn't say
yes,
that.
you have done a nice job of patching holes and your boat is floating all the higher these days, which is great to see. It's great to see.
That's the girl dad in you, Dallas. You just once you become a girl dad, you're just like, life's too short to not just be happy and try to have good relationships with people.
Well, speaking of that, one of the underrated parts of spring training, maybe the highlight that nobody's brought up yet in either podcast, was when Jared and I were returning from a spring training venue, and we stopped at a local burger joint to get a meal.
Mhm.
And we were wrapping up, and this elderly lady and her daughter came over, and, we're just kind of looking longingly towards a table with a back to it.
Mm.
And, we offered the table to them. And you know what the lady said to us? She said,
Thank you.
I bet your mothers are so proud of you two.
Oh,
You
We
know
looked
my
at-
mom's proud of me.
We looked at each other and we said, hell yeah, they are.
They are.
hell yes.
Susie
be
and
more
Ellen, are you kidding?
Mm-hmm.
Probably
What a
the
tandem.
two of the luckiest moms on the planet.
Bar
Suze
none.
Ellen. The
Yep.
Suze Ellen combo. Good. Well, you know what? Good
The
for them.
funny
That's
part
a
about
badge
that
of honor.
story, my mom's going to listen to that and cry. She's going to cry listening to what Jayhay
It's 100% true, not embellished in any way whatsoever, Ellen.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Wow.
But I'm excited for these pods to roll out, these interviews that we did. I think we're loaded up for a couple months at least with all the shit that we got.
Yeah, we sat down.
so
we
many.
sat down with a few different people for sure. A lot
Yeah,
of Royals
Vinnie-
love.
A lot of Royals love. Yep. Shout out to Kansas City. This Vinnie Pasquantino interview was certainly one of the best that we got. He's just one of the more entertaining, has a case for most entertaining guy in the league. He's in the conversation. So yeah, this interview is no different. Very excited for you guys to hear that. Also, if you missed the Paul Skeens interview, you should probably go back and listen to the last episode because we did kick off the interview brigade with one of the best players of any sport active right now. Paul
One of
Skeens.
the best athletes, period.
Mm-hmm. 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 Should we start with the interview and then come back with some baseball bullshit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
Peak
not?
game.
Yeah. All right. Before we do that, though, we have to tell you about the great folks at Underdog. Shout out to Underdog for
Dude.
the most support we have ever received as a baseball brand. Ever.
Incredible.
Ever.
Absolutely incredible. Like never. Yeah.
No
The investment-
shots. No shots at anyone else. It's not to put anyone else down. It's only to lift up Underdog. When I say we have never received more support and I told Tim that when we were down in Arizona, I said, we've never received this much support in terms of production, in terms of, where we were staying. And
I just say investment in time, dude.
Yeah.
Investment in time, like the genuine investment of time, meaning back
The
channel
fact
phone
that Tim
calls.
was there,
Sure.
that's never happened either. Like where we've done some sort of work trip and then had a representative from the company that's never happened either.
Well, that's what I mean by investment of time.
Mhm.
Like that's just that's a level of care, right? That you're expressing, that you're showing. And sure, there's a lot of different reasons behind it, but that's the idea, is that investment is forward facing and it's intertwined in what we've got going on. And I know that same vibe is felt all across multiple platforms. And that's what's, it's not just endemic to one brand, one channel, like everybody feels that love, everybody. And so it's it's just a great vibe. It's a great feeling when I think, folks come into town and we can sit down and have the same conversations that we would have on the podcast. Like that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you to Underdog. You can thank them on behalf of us by downloading the app, signing up, using the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. I'm very excited to continue this relationship. I'm just blown away at how they see the vision the same way that we do in terms of content creation. It's been very cool to see, Dallas branch off and have his brain baby come to life with Slab Lab, where he can just, I think what we do here on Baseball is Dead is a perfect blend, with Dallas being the former player, Jayhay being the numbers guy and the brain. I'm kind of just the comedic relief with Joe. But to see Dallas do Slab Lab and be able to, it's not that he can't be as intelligent as he is on this show, but it's kind of like you're speaking two different languages. This is more of a conversational, lighthearted show, whereas Slab Lab is like, let's get in the nitty gritty. Let's lift up the hood and see what's under here. And he's able to speak with active MLB pitchers and they're talking the same language. So it's, and Underdog sees that and they're like, this is great content. And it's reflected in the response to it. Like the views, like it's a brand new channel and it's already doing views that are comparable to the podcast that we do on this channel. So it's very cool. And there's more coming. There's a lot more coming, actually.
There's more coming. And honestly, like Jared, thank you for saying that. And I couldn't be happier with the reception, but it's something that I came up with. But I mean, from Jake helping, from Jayhay helping, the work that Mike and Jeremy put in and day out when we get on site to do these things, like that's the kind of shit that makes this kind of stuff happen. And it's their work and their investment in it, and then the players, because the players have to be open to the idea of having this kind of conversation. They have to be comfortable enough to realize that, hey, I'm here to make sure everybody by the end of this wants to wear your jersey, wants to be at your Hall of Fame induction ceremony. And it's because you possess the personality, the skill set, and you just do things that are so fucking cool. I want to share that with baseball fans, and baseball fans have eaten it up. I've showed all of you guys like the messages and shit from current players, from former players. I mean, JP Sears was referencing the videos that he had seen, the conversations that I was having with Scooble. So, I mean, current big leaguers are watching this stuff, coaches, and it's been incredible. So I couldn't thank everybody enough for the help. I couldn't thank folks who were listening enough for just showing an interest, because it's a lot of fun for me. I enjoy having those conversations. I know Scoobs reached out to me right away and was like, bro, that was fucking insane. Your boys absolutely crushed it. And I mean, it's just, man, it's been great.
Yeah. We were saying that at the airport before we came home. I was just like, this is my 20th season of covering baseball in some form. And the team that we have right now, it just recognize how rare it is that everyone individually is very good at what they do. Everyone is very different, but we're all friends in real life. Like there's no one on our team that I wouldn't like invite over my house to just hang out. And that's never happened. I've never had that. Again, not a shot at anyone that I've ever had on my team before, but it's like, sometimes you will get assigned a producer and it's like, like they can cut video and they can edit audio. And like, that's why they're on your team. It's like, all right, cool. But everyone that works on our team loves baseball is friends with us in real life, and they love like the shows. Like a lot of them were fans of the show before they were working on the show.
I was just going to say what I love is that there's no doubt that these fucking assholes, Jake and Jeremy and Em, are listening and hearing the stuff while they're working, and they have opinions about it, right? Like they care about this. It's not just words that are flying in and out that they have to edit. They give a damn about this. And that's what I love. It's not just somebody that's just kind of chilling in a square that I can't see that is waiting for this thing to wrap up. We are all full forward. Just the drive is there.
Yeah. It's very much a team, which feels great. Feels great.
Sure fucking does.
Again, if you enjoy the content that you're seeing, get out there and get on the action with Underdog, because that is ultimately what drives the machine for us, is people getting in with Underdog, supporting the cause. Sign up with the promo code Jared, Jared, to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits and a special pick on Underdog. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. All right, let's dive into this Vinnie Pasquantino interview, and then on the other side, we can bullshit about some ball, do some ball talk with the fellas.
Squatching. Let's go squatching.
All right, we're here with Vinnie Pasquantino, and this spring training tour has been about spiritual healing. We did the Spikes Up tour. That was about malice. Yep. This one is about spiritual healing. So I want to start this interview by apologizing to you, Vinnie.
Wow. Wow.
In October.
This doesn't happen all the time, man.
No, it doesn't. This is accountability. In October, I sent out a tweet, and I said the Baltimore Orioles would have put up a better fight against the New York Yankees than the Kansas City Royals. And you know what? That was wrong of me to do that. I was just lashing out. Do you accept my apology?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
All right.
I appreciate it.
It was more for me than it was for you.
Yeah, no, you needed that.
I needed to
that.
get
I'm glad
that.
you were able to get that off your
Thank
chest.
you. Speaking of getting things off their chests, John Cena got something off his chest the other night.
He did.
Shocked is the word for me. Where are you at on John Cena right now?
I'm all in.
You're all in on heel Cena?
All in on heel Cena. The fans finally like him, and they say, screw you. He's going bad, and I like it. So I'm all the way in. I'm very excited for WrestleMania.
What's the number one heel Cena matchup that you're looking to see now? Because this is something that we've been waiting over 20 years for this.
Ooh, I hope he just goes full like dickhead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Good? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Well, he's gonna beat up R-Truth, because R-Truth idolizes him, and he's very popular.
He should beat up everybody.
He should.
Everybody.
Yeah.
He should beat Cody at Mania. He should fight Gunther at some point. He should just go full heel and just beat the shit out of everybody.
Yeah.
Now, am I fair in my assessment here? Because we were talking about this. I'm nowhere near at the level, at the depth of you and Jared in this thing, but I know what's going on. I understand kind of how this has gone. Is this something that, I mean, he's at the end, he's got to be a good guy, right? This has to happen. He can't go out and kiss babies and shake hands and be the face of all that is good in this world without kicking somebody's ass at the end and being the good dude, right?
Yeah, you would think so. But I just hope he just gets the golden shovel out and buries everybody,
yeah.
dude. Everybody.
So you're here for the malice.
I do acknowledge my tribal chief, but
Yeah.
I think he should kick the shit out of him too. Just go.
Because Roman's
After
babyface.
Roman?
Yeah.
Just all in, because he
Yeah.
hasn't beaten him before.
That's a full
Win the
assault.
title, go right after him. Just kill the entire bloodline.
Yeah,
And just do it.
There's so many guys that are babyface right now, where it's like, oh, you can go after Punk,
Yep.
Orton. Like, there's some classics that you can run back. It would be great if they somehow got Edge back, and it's like go through all the hits, play the hits. Very excited about that. But in terms of baseball, you playing for the Kansas City Royals and all, we can switch back to baseball. This season has to be very exciting for you, knowing what you guys accomplished last year and having everyone coming into camp being like, last year it was kind of not a pipe dream, but like no one's talking about us, no one believes in us. But this year is different because we went out and proved it.
Yeah, well, first off, it's freezing today.
It is so
I'm
cold.
kind of shaking. which
We all are.
sucks. This is ridiculous. But yeah, no, camp definitely has a little bit of a different feel in that regard, just because last year we felt like we could do something and make some noise, and this year it's the expectation. So for us, it's different in the way of, okay, now we're just legitimately getting ready for the season instead of trying to go prove it to ourselves all during spring and then at the beginning of the year.
Division?
I don't see why we can't win the division.
Okay.
But I also think if anybody goes into a season thinking that they can't win the division, you're probably in the wrong game. So
That's fair.
I definitely do think we can win the division. I'm excited to match up with some of these teams and get going.
You think they're saying that in the Marlins clubhouse right now? Like, let's go get them, boys, win the division?
I sure hope so, because we were saying it here 2 years ago. So
That's fair.
So I hope so. Yeah, I hope they are.
That's fair. That's fair. In terms of your experiences last year, what's something, I guess, that you kind of proved to yourself on a personal level last year that you can take into this year that gives you a boost of confidence?
Well, I think the way I hit with runners in scoring position, I'm pretty proud of, because my job is to quite literally drive in runs, not do anything else. Like, I mean, it is to do other stuff.
If you could do other stuff too, that'd be sweet.
That'd be cool too.
We'll take that.
But I'm pretty sure, like, my job description is Vinnie Pasquantino, first baseman, drive in runs.
Yeah.
That's kind of, it's more old school in that regard of, like, although I am planning on stealing a few bases this year.
Let's go.
I've never been thrown out, never met a big league catcher who could throw me out, so I'd like to get to 2 maybe this year.
I did see that video
Bro.
you did with MLB where we're waking up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
We're drinking raw eggs. We're doing wind sprints
I mean, you're
out there
beating your
before the
German
sun
Shepherd
comes
in sprints, for Christ's sake. Like,
Yeah,
that's,
he's getting old. He's got back issues, so
that's
there's
right.
a little
Pick your,
bit of
pick your spots, bro.
but he helps me get ready. So yeah, I think that's it. And then another thing I proved to myself is, like, kind of battle through a little bit of adversity with my thumb and how that went, and just kind of proved to myself I had a goal to get back on the field for the postseason, and I was able to do it. So I think I'm pretty proud of myself for that. But I believe there's more in the tank, and I'm excited for this year.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you.
What adjustments are we making to give yourself an opportunity to show I can bang against the lefties too? I want those opportunities, because I know how badly you want to play baseball every fucking day. And that's a part of it, right? To be able to handle both sides of the platoon. So has there been an emphasis or a point of focus on being able to, whether it's hang in there a little longer, see the pitch a little longer, just a matter of studying your opponents? What are you trying to do to sort of put yourself in that much better of a position?
Yeah, well, I think there's one aspect of it where I can't really think about the lefty too much, because if I grind mentally on, like, okay, I got to do this versus lefties, then I'll face them and be like, well, I have to get a hit.
Sure.
So I think there's one end where I just try to treat it the exact same. But then there also is that other end of, yeah, I do think you got to see the ball a little bit deeper against lefties. Now, maybe a Scooble's a little different. A Crochet's these guys are throwing 100.
Get it
but
down, Vinny.
yeah, but it's, understanding how they're going to pitch you. It's going to be a lot of soft away, up and in, stand you up, get you back down. So seeing a little deeper, using the left side of the field a little bit more. I know people in Kansas City will be happy for me to say that, because they're tired of me grounding out to second. I'm also tired of me grounding out to second. I just like to know, you think that's fun for me? You get to watch a slow death as I run to first. It doesn't matter how hard I run. I'm going to be out. So, yeah, I'd like to use the other way a little bit more too. And so that's my plan.
There's hits over there, bro.
There's hits over there.
There's
There's like weirdly less hits because of the lack of shift now. Like, that was kind of fun a few years ago. They'd go 4 outfield sometimes.
You would just love
hit a ground ball up the middle. That's when I could hit a ground ball.
Sure.
But yeah, I think using the left side of the field would be great, and maybe walking a little bit more.
Yeah,
would be cool. Striking out a little bit less and just doing my thing.
That's great. Like, I had a conversation with Lucas Giolito years ago when he was struggling. He came out and was, like, statistically one of the worst. And I said, I feel like if you just throw more strikes and give up less runs, you're going to be in a great spot.
Yeah.
And it started to work out for him. So striking out less and getting more hits, that sounds like
and walking more.
Pretty solid recipe.
Getting on base more, net positive for everybody.
No doubt.
For me, the Royals, everybody. I mean, there's only one scenario where it's okay for me to strike out, and that's when there's a guy at first with less than 2 outs, because I'm quite the double play threat.
It's not 2 outs.
It's not 2 outs.
Wise man once said, if you know you're going to hit into a double play, just strike out.
Just strike out. Just strike out. Last year I grounded into 2 double plays against the Brewers, and I'm still thinking about that. We won the game, but I made 6 outs that night. That sucked.
Yeah.
6 of the 27 I was responsible for.
Chip away at that.
Yeah.
You're at this point now, you're one of the most forward-facing, available, media-friendly personalities in Major League Baseball. What would you say to other players that are kind of like on the fence about doing that? Because I'm sure there's more guys that want to be like you, like be like, hey, I have a personality, like I'm pretty funny. My teammates think I'm funny, but to be able to show that side to the public, what would you say to sort of encourage the people that are like, I don't know if that's for me?
Well, I think there's a few like reasons why guys don't, and I think it's just because we're out there every day. Like an 0 for 4 can come quick. You give up a few homers on the mound, that can come quick. And if you're out there talking a lot, you're an easy target. But I don't sleep any worse at night when people come after me because I talk a lot. Like, I think it's fun. I'm trying to help promote the game, promote the Royals, like promote myself. Like the older school mindset was more like, hey, we're sportsmen, we go out and we compete. And I fully believe that the kind of new mindset is, hey, we're entertainers. People come to watch us play. That's why they're showing up. Like Bobby Witt is one of the most exciting players in the league. They come to watch him play. And that's, you know, I think more guys are buying into the social media, like doing more interviews, getting their face more out there, and I think it's helping the game grow. And I think people have really gotten into it. I still haven't done TikTok.
Same, kind of.
Which apparently is huge.
Yeah,
so
it's massive.
Maybe we'll get into that. I don't know, but there is like at the end of the day, I do have to go play. But
you need to hire someone that just makes your life infinitely easier. Where they're the ones that are recording you, they edit it and they post for you. You just have to be you.
You just be you.
Yeah.
Let me get to ARB first.
Okay.
Let me get to ARB first, and then we'll start working on that. But yeah, I think like it's a great opportunity for guys, just because there's a lot of opportunities out there. They just want people who are willing and wanting to do it, and I think it's something that it's easy to buy into because people are just trying to make baseball look better.
So do you think that because Dallas is a dime a dozen, like, you know, someone that was able to retire at an age where you're not like a curmudgeon. He's young enough where he you know wants to be in the content game and is super knowledgeable. If you're at your point where, say, you retire at 37, God willing, do you hope to kind of stay in the spotlight and make baseball content because I feel like people love what you put out there? Or is it just like, I'm trying to make the most of my opportunity in the big leagues and show face, but when I'm done, I'm riding off into the sunset?
I think there's a piece that looks appealing to both, where it's like, hey, you make enough money, you can just go do whatever you want.
Just go fuck off.
But I also think there's a piece of me that doesn't really care about the money aspect like that. Like, I just really like the game. Like, I really like it when the old heads and the nerds are fighting. It's like,
it's entertaining.
Like, it's fun.
It's
and
great.
It creates conversations around the game. Now, I do think it's hilarious when people just look at a computer and say, well, this is what you should do because the computer says it. And then they're like, but then you get like the old school veterans who played for 10 years that are like, no, but I played and you didn't. And it's like, well, there is a piece of it where it doesn't really matter. Like, you can still coach if you don't play.
Sure,
like,
sure. Let me ask you this. All right, you have to play a career. You get to play a 12-year career, but you have an option. You can take all of your lessons and every bit of what you're doing, how you create yourself as a player, your skill set, and that comes with just what we'll call feel or the old school approach, right? Or you can play a career solely based on the analytical data provided for you, and at no point in time are we talking feel. You might even just be walking into a building and this information is presented to you. There is no communication with a guy who's seen 95 with run. There is no communication.
Loaded question, DB.
Who's seen depth. Where are you going? What are you picking? Which pathway? This is MLB The Show. Which pathway are you picking?
I'm going the old school, like, feel. Like, there's just something about that to me. Like, and when I look at the value of stuff too, I think we're in a weird spot because when was the last time you heard a guy talk about when there's a guy at second with nobody on, I'm just going to go get him over?
Yeah.
I've actually been told that situational hitting doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
And I'm not saying that's here, but I have been told that.
You've heard that. Yeah. It's a conversation.
Or like, hitting is blackjack. If it's not in your spot, don't swing. It's like, well, if there's 2 strikes,
I've got.
I'm not just gonna.
Yeah.
One of the things I have argued with, like, here is the chase rate stuff. Like, I don't think that I should get knocked on a chase pitch with 2 strikes.
Sure.
What if the umpire calls it a strike?
Sure.
Now I'm out.
Well, is it fair if I rebut with, I'll give you shadow zone, but anything outside of the shadow, I got to bang you, Vinny?
Sure, that's fine. But I'd also argue, that 0-2 pitch that was outside the shadow zone that I fouled off, then I got to the next pitch, then I got to the next one. I ended up walking, and it was 10 pitches. I'm okay with that.
I am more than okay with being able to give you credit to go ahead and go out of there, because now we're talking about your O swing and your ability to stay in the fight, stay in the at bat. So more than appreciative of that. And I would credit you 1,000%.
Like, so I guess to answer your question best is, I know some people say that like hitting is a science. I look at hitting like an art.
Yes.
Like swinging is the science, but the hitting piece where like I'm trying to do stuff, that's like doing art in my mind.
Because hitting means how you're processing it and interpreting it is, this is a skill set. I have to artfully do this. And it might be, and I have a front row seat watching it with a guy you know very well, Brent Rooker, and the way that he last year started to be able to expand his zone early in the count with guys and runners in scoring position, because you have a job. You're a hitter, and you are trying to hit a pitch in a situation to execute and get a job done. That's the art behind hitting, right?
Yeah, well, it's like if my goal is if there's a guy at third base with less than 2 outs, it's like a free throw. Like,
for sure.
Just get him in.
It
doesn't matter how. Like, again, now we're going into this analytical conversation, but sack flies, negative 1,000 or negative 100 WRC plus, negative WAR attached to that. Like, except we're up 1-0.
Right. How's that?
The goal is to score runs. The goal is to beat the other team.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that actually only happened because of the guy in front of you got there, and that's situational based, and we don't believe in that. So that's just a fly out, actually. It's like, oh, well, no, it's not.
Tim Kirchin will not hear that.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you talked about earlier in the interview, where you were a little hard on yourself with your strikeout and your swing and miss, and saying that's something you want to take a step forward with. I mean, league-wide, you're already extremely impressive in that regard, and even more so as it relates to corner infielders. Is that like an innate part of your game, or is that something that somewhere along the developmental path you were like, this is a decision that I want to make about how I'm going to approach?
I think it was just kind of how I was raised. Like, my dad and I would go into the cage and we would basically do live at bats. I didn't understand that they were live at bats at the time, but we would just play. Like, if I get a hit, guy at first, and then we would just, and when he would make me swing and miss, he would laugh at me. And I really don't like being laughed at. So it was one of those things where, like, now it's a blessing and a curse in some ways, because sometimes I'd rather miss than ground out to second. But especially early in the count. But it's just one of those things where I just feel like if I put the ball in play, something good can happen. Like, a lot of people will say, like, what's the worst that can happen? I always say, what's the best that can happen? Now, I wish my batting average on balls in play would go up a little bit, because I put the ball in play a lot, and I'm slow and left-handed and hit the ball at second base. But in my mind, putting the ball in play is better than not. So it's just something that I just take a lot of pride in.
Doing the spring training tour, we kind of hit a bunch of camps, and we get to see the differences of which teams. Is there like a national emergency happening right now? Or
there's a base, some Air Force base, I think.
That makes sense.
And they do a bunch of training every day. So yeah, it gets loud here.
Yeah. But like, we've been to a bunch of different camps, and they'll bring back former players and legends from that team. Do you have someone that's a mentor to you, or someone that you really enjoy picking their brain, having baseball conversations with, that comes back during this time of year?
Mike Sweeney's here all the time during the spring, and he's the man, and he's the nicest human being I've ever met. And like, sometimes I'm like, you're being too nice.
No,
but then it's just him.
Yep.
So he did Michael Massey's wedding this winter, and it was great. There was a lot of tears from him. It was awesome. There was karaoke sang at the wedding, like at the ceremony.
Yeah.
Never seen that before. It was awesome. But he's just the nicest guy in the world, and I keep telling him I'd like to break his 145 RBI record.
Ooh.
So that's my goal.
Yeah.
I tell him that every time I see him is I'm coming for that.
He is, well, like, when you talk about mentor, to have that kind of dude, kind of a human floating around, like, he instantly, as when he walked into our clubhouse at the end of his career, he instantly became everybody's best friend, everybody's big brother, everybody's like life advice counsel. Like, he checks every box, man.
And just as a first baseman, it's awesome to be able to pick his brain. As a guy who drove in runs, it's what he did. Like, just, what were you thinking about in this situation? How did you approach this? How did you approach this pitcher? And he just, baseball knowledge is off the charts, so it's just awesome to be able to chop it up with him.
Well, I can almost like hear his conversation maybe to you about the responsibility that you're talking about, driving in runs. Like, we got a job to do, right? Like, this is what we're looking to do by any means necessary. Get it done. Just an absolute grinder.
Get it done. Yeah.
If there was a movie made about your life, which WWE superstar would you pick to play you?
Ooh, man, that's a loaded question.
They could be dead or alive from all time.
I think just body type wise, probably The Rock. Maybe The Undertaker.
Yeah.
Young Undertaker. Great,
Yeah.
good hair. You know, man.
You know who Earthquake is?
No.
I had you more like Earthquake type food.
Vader.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was at the Rumble, like those guys are kind of short, so
Yeah.
it is something that makes me feel good. Is when I
Earthquake
see
not
other
short.
like professionals and I'm way taller than them.
They just that's what's messed up is like, I mean, you obviously don't have this problem, but in WWE they can just make up their height.
They can just make it up.
Make it up. They're like, he's 7 foot tall, and it's
Well-
like he's 6'7", which is very tall,
Yeah,
but
it's
like
tall.
not
What is
7
not
feet.
7 feet?
How tall was the giant Gonzalez?
He was like 7'8".
Yeah, he was
tall.
He was
He was
actually
massive.
He was tall.
But like some of these dudes, like they're listed at 6'1". Like I'm not gonna name names, but there was someone that was listed at 6'1". I met him. We were basically the same height.
Isn't Cena like 4.5 feet tall?
Cena's. I mean, I have a
Taller than
picture.
that, but he's not tall. Yeah.
He's not tall either. Yeah, like
Little
Chris Jericho, not that tall. I
Yeah.
met Ricochet. Like he came up to my nipples.
Yeah, and he flies.
Very, very athletic, but very, very diminutive.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that spot that him and Logan Paul did a few years ago
Yeah.
where that was crazy. They
Yeah.
do some crazy shit.
Yeah, Logan Paul, freak
I
athlete.
couldn't even think about like even McAfee when he did it and he was doing backflips and shit. I'm
Former
like,
coworker.
yeah, he was.
He was.
Like, how's he doing that? Like, whatever. They're
I mean,
doing
he's
it.
an actual athlete.
Yeah.
Like Logan Paul, it's like
Vinny,
dude was like a YouTuber podcaster, and now he's doing like the top stunts at
It's crazy.
WWE PLEs.
I feel like if you put the spandex on and just get the camera rolling, something would take over you, and you would be able to fly just like them.
Yeah, I would have to wear a shirt though. I'm not.
a singlet.
Like, I don't have the abs.
singlet.
I don't have the
Singlet.
abs yet for WWE, but
Yeah.
I'm working on it. That's what I'd like to do if I retire at 37, go do the WWE for like 7-8 years, and then come back to baseball.
Yeah,
Sure.
some guys that their careers just be like Diamond Dallas Page. I think
Yeah.
he started when he was like 39.
Yeah, yeah.
So you
well,
can have a double career,
LA Knight's like 48.
right? AJ Styles is like 46. John Cena, bald as shit. 50,
Bald
like-
as shit.
Yeah.
Bald as shit. You should look at Michael Massey. They've got very similar hair too.
Oh, Massey
Brutal.
catching straight.
out of nowhere.
John Cena would play Michael Massey in a movie. Yeah,
Yeah. If you do you know Sean Casey at all?
a little bit. Yeah.
Next time you see Sean Casey, ask him his John Cena story.
Okay, I will.
It is one of it, not even just like a baseball or a wrestling story. It's just like a top 5 life story. Yeah.
Good, great.
Yeah.
I'll ask him.
Ask him. Yes, 1000%. Where are we at on time? All right, we got a couple more questions. So for you, we like to talk about goals with individuals. I know you mentioned the runs batted in and obviously World Series playoffs. Take all that stuff off the table. The 2 stolen bases, that we know that one too. Is there something statistically that you hope to achieve this year from an individual perspective?
This is a lame answer, but I'd like to be healthy all year.
No,
Is there a health stat?
not limited. Absolutely, it's called
Games
games played.
played.
Motherfucker.
Games
Post
played.
it up.
All right,
I would like to be available to play in a baseball game 162 times during the regular season
Okay.
this year. That would be my goal this year. I might not get to 162, but I'd like to be available for 162.
It is. Take it from somebody who, at the end of my long illustrious career, was just a professional rehabber at that point. It's a skill, man. It's something that you have to learn how to do, how to taper, how to know when to say when, how to lay the body down, and understanding that recovery is just as important, and if not more so at this point, even early in your career.
Well, the coolest thing that people always say when guys come from other teams, they talk about other players, because I always try to pick brains about like different players, especially first basemen, and they're like, he just posts.
Yeah.
Like that's the nicest compliment.
Absolutely, dude.
He posts every day.
That's all you want to, as a pitcher, that's all you want to do. Can I take the ball, even if my arm's falling off? Like, can
Yeah.
I just take the ball?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does your YouTube algorithm look like when you're logging on to the YouTube app on your TV? What is it suggesting that you like to watch?
It's literally just like Colin Cowherd. It's it's just that pretty much. Like
It's just that.
it's just talk shows. Rich Eisen I listen to all the time.
Yeah.
Been on the Rich Eisen show. Felt really good.
Sorry about it.
That was a solid performance.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just sports talk shows, specifically football. I really lock in during the fall.
Sure.
Because I don't really have much else going on.
Same.
Like late in the fall, like November, December.
Has anybody told you that you just give extreme Shane Gillis.
Yeah, every time I do an interview.
Yeah.
And Bob's
Like,
friends,
that's
Bob's
all I
friends
can
with
hear
him.
right now. I watched a couple of beers last night for probably an hour.
Yeah.
And this is that's all. I'm waiting for you
I
to.
didn't notice it until
Waiting for you to give me the Trump. I'm waiting for you to give me something.
No, I can't do impressions.
I'm not asking you to.
I won't.
But
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
I appreciate that because he's very funny.
He's hilarious.
But Bob's friends with him, and I'm like, "Yo, Bob,"
Let's.
and he knows this too. He knows every time I do an interview, he's like,
Come on.
"There's just, you know him,
Yeah.
Let's make it happen." But
I think that's
you know.
something. That's a meetup that should absolutely happen.
Yeah, he's big too, isn't he? He's
Yeah,
like tall.
he's not a little fella.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Maybe him. Can he play me in a movie?
He would. That's who I was going to have
I feel
play
like he
you
would
in a movie.
absolutely play.
Yeah,
you.
okay,
1000%.
that'd be great.
Yeah.
1000%.
I've got better hair though.
You do have better hair.
I'm very proud of my hair.
Unequivocally, yeah.
You got
My
good
wife
hair.
hates it, but I'm
Really?
I'm very proud of it.
You know what? This might come off as an insult, the comparison.
Wow.
But so no, it's a compliment though,
Wow.
because your hair, like when you pop the top, it's still like wow. But like Marty Mush, when he pops the top, you're like, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
because you never know, like out
Well,
the back, like
he's
what's
not a
going on.
hat fisher.
Right.
You're not a hat fisher.
You were for a time though, because you had like the curly locks coming out the back with the.
Yep.
yeah.
It's not moving.
Mine's
You just
still,
wait.
Mine's still okay. It's
Yeah,
not. I don't
like
have
that's-
it gelled up today, but
That's amazing.
we had yoga today, so I had it in a bun before I came out.
It's
here.
thick. It's full. The
Yeah, thank
hairline
you.
is solid.
It's Italian. What can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some have even said this guy might as well be from New Jersey. You
A
know,
lot of people say that. A lot of people freaking say that, and I'm not from New Jersey. Got a lot
No.
of friends from New Jersey. I prefer pork roll over Taylor ham, but I know they're the same thing, but it's pork roll. But I'm not from New Jersey, so maybe I'll start correcting people next time they say it. Be like, nah, just stop the interview. I'm not from New Jersey.
where did the rumor come from? Just you're Italian. They assume he's from
Yeah,
New Jersey.
and I'm a Jets fan, so it's just like he's
Oh, yeah.
Italian Jets
You have
fan.
to
He's
be.
from New York or New Jersey. Yeah, it has to be. Can't be from anywhere else.
He
Yeah.
has to be.
No room.
Yeah.
Hot tub time machine.
Hot tub time machine. You get to jump in a hot tub time machine.
It's a regular
and
one.
you get to. It's the best the hot tub time machine is the best time machine you could ever be in.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in a hot tub time machine, and you're blasting back into the past. Baseball history. Any moment in baseball history, you get to be there and witness it unfold. You don't get to play. You just get to watch.
Get to watch.
Just get to be there to experience this moment.
I'd like to watch Luis Gonzalez's walk-off, just because I was alive, but I was like 3 or whatever.
Really.
or whatever.
Well, so what's the attraction?
Walk-offs are sick.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's really the only attraction is like walk-offs are
Dope.
awesome.
Sure.
So that's the one that sticks out in my mind. I don't really know why.
It's a lefty staying inside a cutter, not
Or
getting chewed up and
David
rolling over to
Ortiz
second.
hitting a home run off of Mike Myers. It's a very random
This was
game.
in 2005.
Yeah, but I watched it as a kid. I'm like, he's got no shot. Mike Myers is coming into the game, and then it was just like whack.
And then he dumped it into like the center. It was like the bullpen, but
Yeah.
like in center field.
Uh-huh.
And it was cold, and the wind was blowing in.
So seeing that moment would be cool, just because.
That's the most random home run of all time. The Yankees acquired Mike Myers
To
to
get
get David
Yeah.
Ortiz out, and they brought him in, and he still just muscled it.
Yeah, so like those moments stick in my mind because it's just like that. Your one job was to
Yeah.
get that guy out, and you didn't do it. And that sucks. Like, literally, quite literally, your job. Yeah.
Just get him out.
Yeah.
Don't let him hit it over the wall.
And I just wanted to incorporate some Red Sox in there for you.
I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
welcome.
I was actually, my final question is, selfishly, I want to know, how excited are you that Garrett Crochet is out of the division now?
I've never faced him.
You haven't?
Talk about platoon.
He didn't have to face you. Vinny.
Yeah, that's right. He
Yeah.
didn't have to face me. But he only pitched against us once last year, I think.
Okay.
So, and I missed him. I ducked him that
Yeah.
day. So that
Spa day.
It's tough. Yeah, not really. Hey, off days are worse than playing days. You're working harder. You're getting ready in like the 5th inning. You don't know when you might go into the game. I do have one pinch hit, triple.
Triple?
off the A's.
Off the A's.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of his 2 triples last
One of
year.
my 2 triples pinch hit.
Okay.
Yeah.
78-mile-an-hour ground ball down the first base line that stuck down the line, and I just kept going. It was amazing. So Tyler Ferguson was the pitcher. He was a cutter, I believe. Got down 0-2 quick. Quick.
Yeah. I think Brownie fell down over at first base. He couldn't get to it.
Yep.
I think Lawrence.
He may have fallen down too.
Yeah, I think so.
Still a triple. Still a triple. So my pinch hit stats look really good. So maybe later in my career that could.
You faced
Little Matt
Ursig in
Sears?
lives yet?
Yeah, he struck me out.
How quick did that happen?
Very.
Yeah.
Very quick. I'm also the worst live hitter of all time. Of all time.
Do you get caught in between like, you know what? I'm just going to track shit today. And then you're like,
That happened.
that.
I told everybody
I'm
one
not
day.
tracking shit.
Yeah.
And
I
then
told.
whap!
I was facing Chris Bubich one of my first lives, I'm like, I'm not swinging, just tracking. I got down 0-2, and for some reason my brain just went, "You're swinging."
You gotta protect.
Like the swing, I probably you could get the bat speed. If you could get the bat speed on, it's probably like 40 miles an hour because there was no conviction in that swing at all. And I walked back, and India's like, "What are you doing? You told me you weren't swinging." I was like, "Dude, I took over."
That is one of my favorite parts about early spring is guys, because that happens. Like you get up there and you're like, bro, I'm just feeling it. I'm not doing, and then the competitive juice comes. And I mean, it's happened where you throw a pitch and you're like, I thought you weren't fucking swinging.
Well, and I'll plan things out in advance too. Like I faced Reagan's in my first live, and I fouled a ball off. It was 0-2, fouled a ball off. I was like, Cole, I can do this all fucking day, man. And I always joke with him that he throws change ups all the time, so I just sit on it. And my plan was, okay, he's definitely throwing a change up here. As soon as he throws it in the dirt, I'm gonna spit out towards the pitcher and be like, I'm all over. He went fastball right down the middle, and I just didn't swing. But apparently, I can't do this all day.
Day's done.
Day's done. I'm just gonna walk back to that. You look very good today, Cole.
Coming out clean.
Yeah, yeah.
Vinnie Pasquantino. This lived up to the hype.
Thank you.
We
I
were looking
appreciate
forward
that.
to this one the whole tour. I was like, this one will deliver. I promise you. So thank you for making the time today. We'll have to
Thank
get
you
you on
guys.
during the season as well.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I love that.
We'll see you there.
All right, big thanks to Vinnie Pasquantino coming on the podcast for the first time.
I mean, bro, you how long did it take you? Because it didn't take me long, and this is probably again because I had watched and am still watching a couple of beers.
Yeah,
I was just like, I'm talking to Shane Gillis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you can definitely hear it in his voice. There's also some Moustakis in there too.
Yeah, little moose.
Yeah, there's a little moose in there. By the way, congratulations to Mike
Yes.
Moustakis on a hell of a career. Announced his retirement. I believe the day that we interviewed Pasquantino.
Yeah,
Moose
he was
had-
there. Well,
had
he was
come in
there.
Yeah, I didn't see him there. He went in the clubhouse and addressed the team. I thought it was just kind of like a rah-rah speech, but it was kind of like I'm going to retire a Royal and just, realize how important it is to put on this uniform, which is very cool to hear. But congrats to Moose, former not teammate. He was on the other team. He was on the other team. Yeah, because I remember I was in right field, and during live gameplay, he walked out into right field to be like, I can't believe they put the Rocket in right field. And I was like, brother, it's a compliment. It's not this ain't Little League where they put the slow kid in right field. It's if you're really slow or your hand-eye coordination isn't great, or maybe you're afraid of the ball, you might find yourself in right field in Little League. But after that, that's where all the big dogs play.
Yeah,
That's where all
especially in the
big
charity
dogs
softball.
are.
Well, especially the charity softball games with like 33 min lineups. That's typically where they just pepper right field. So like if you
say that, but I mean, who was it that hit a bomb over my head? Was it Bellinger?
me, oh no. Yeah,
No,
might
it
have
was
been Belly.
Jock Peterson.
Oh, it was Jock.
Yeah, it's Jock.
It was Jock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
there was a
told
lot of
Jock,
action
sorry,
out
his-
there in right field.
His just didn't go as far as mine.
Yeah, what team is Jock Peterson on right now? Giants?
No.
Try again. All right. Well,
Shout out to Connor.
Johnner Keffers.
Yeah, he loves them Rangers, boy. Them Rangers.
Good luck.
Rangers are going to be sneaky good. I mean, I feel like not even sneaky. I feel like people are well aware that the Texas Rangers are maybe not the team to beat in the American League, but if the Texas Rangers ended up in the ALCS this year, would any of you be surprised? No.
I don't know if I would be surprised. But I think I'm right on the cusp of being surprised.
What if I told you Jacob deGrom makes 27 starts this year?
Whoa.
that I would be surprised about in general.
Yeah, I know.
That's laughable to you, Dallas.
That's laughable to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've
There's-
already got him penciled in for a 60-day somewhere.
I believe I posed the question, how happy would we be if we got 12 to 15 starts from Jacob deGrom?
You're talking about him like he's Kershaw, which I guess
Dude,
is
what do you
He hasn't made 27 starts in a season since 2019. It's been a half decade since.
What if I told you that Jacob deGrom made 19 starts this year? that enough for you?
You know what? If
I'd be happy
Jacob
with that.
deGrom made 19 starts this year, then I would start. Well, one, I would be very interested to see just what the overall, what the mileage looked like. And I mean, like, I want to look at some of the numbers, like fastball velocity, sustained velocity, velocity towards the end of his outings. Give me the last 5 outings and the last 2 innings of each of those outings. What does the fastball velocity look like? What sort of taper are we dealing with? Is the depth and the profile on the breaking balls in the latter stage of those 19 starts, is that consistent with what we saw maybe at the early onset of those 19 starts? Right? Like, I would just be curious, do the last 5 to 7 starts look similar to what the first 5 to 7 starts you would hope look like? And that would give me a really good idea of kind of how we're moving forward with this. Because what if we find out that Jacob deGrom is like, you know what? I've decided to alter some things mechanically, where it's not 99 out of the hand. And I don't know that it's going to necessarily be that, but maybe he gets more comfortable pitching without stepping on the gas pedal. And maybe he finds
Did I see a video recently somewhere about deGrom's like warm-up routine and how he like doesn't really have one? Like, it's not very intricate and thought out and meticulous. It's kind of just like, all right, let's get up and throw.
Well, there's always been conversation about deGrom being, you know, he was an athlete. This guy's a fucking infielder, right? He's a shortstop. So when you take that kind of athlete and you put them on the mound and they have the early success, you're almost in a spot where it's like, well, we ain't touching shit. Like,
Yeah.
this, you know, so let this animal eat the way he does.
Age, wouldn't you as the player think, you know, I'm in an advanced stage of my career, I think I should probably look into how to keep my arm shoulder situation healthier?
Well, it's interesting because if you are somebody who's going out and doing what this dude has done when he's on the mound, and I the reason I say it that way is because there's probably times where Jacob deGrom has gone out there and shoved it up somebody's ass and not felt good, right? Not been healthy. That's happened. It's not like Jacob deGrom has been dominant and has felt pristine in every one of those outings and then just so happens to fall apart and now he's broken. He's had to battle through. He's had to compete and pitch and dominate while not feeling well at the same time. But if every time you take the ball, you're dominating the way he does, essentially, you're almost caught in that spot where it's like, all right, I know it's my health that's preventing me from this longevity that I'm after, but look at what I do when I'm out there. You want me to change that? You know, and the answer is, well, we want you to be able to pitch consistently year in and year out. And so now the onus is on the athlete to identify whatever mechanical adjustments might be necessary to create that longevity for themselves. So that's, I think, where he is at now at this point in time is, are there mechanical adjustments that I can make that would help me prevent and avoid some of these injuries that I'm sustaining, that I continue to sustain, right? That's where the biomechanist comes into place. And you're trying to get everybody on the same page with how this dude is moving down the slope. Because when he's healthy, we've talked about it. I mean, top 3 arm talent in the game.
Yeah. Jayhay, give me a fair higher or lower for games started Jacob deGrom in 2025.
Oh, I mean, I think the teens is where that we've been kicking around, whether that's Dallas's 15 that he mentioned originally or the 19 that you threw out. Let's just go with 17 and a half, I think is a totally reasonable number to go over or under on. I mean, all the reports so far are not discouraging really in any way necessarily, but they're not like he is 100% fully ready to be the horse Jacob deGrom from 2019 or whatever. Like, that's very much not the picture that the Rangers are painting. Bochy said that like they're building him up to be able to pitch 5 innings at a burst, and that they are going to start him. They said he'd get about 4 starts in spring training, and that he's going to start as the back end number 5 starter in terms of the schedule. So they are giving him basically as soft of a cushion as you could come up with. So I think their expectations and our expectations, I think are need to be or are in check. I think it's more, what I'm more intrigued about is less about what is the overall number of starts that they get from Jacob deGrom, as it is when do those starts occur, and are any of them available for the postseason / high leverage starts when the Rangers need them? Because any projection system looking, and I'll use Fangraphs, looking at the AL West, says that this could be a legendarily tight race. I know it has previously been already extremely tight, but all three of those teams per Fangraphs are projected for 84 wins right now, and have about a 50-something% chance of making the playoffs, each of them. So by that, I mean the Mariners, Rangers, and Astros. So like, the Rangers should be in the thick of it, but it's also very likely that they aren't distanced from these two other teams in a way that they can perfectly manage like his workload down the stretch. I don't know. That's the part to me. When are these happening, and what is the leverage during which they're happening?
And Jay, that starts to really impact the Rangers and their journey through the season, does it not? I mean, if we're now trying to figure out where these starts are going to come from for Jacob deGrom, are you almost assuming that there's going to be a level of success occurring, that these starts are going to be
I've never seen.
No,
I've
not
never
you. I'm
seen,
just saying in general.
No, I get it. I've never seen Jacob deGrom not be good, and in fact, not be amazing. Basically, since
it's
in
been,
all right. So
forever
if
since the dude showed up.
Yeah, literally since he showed up. The highest ERA he has ever posted in a single season is 3.53. And that was in a 201 and a third inning season where he finished 8th in the Cy Young. That's the highest ERA he's ever had. Okay. So, and
look at his starts. Look at his starts, Jay. Tell like, I promise you, the first fucking 5 turns through the fucking league, he's taking the ball 30 starts, 32 starts, 27, whatever, right?
He debuted in 14 and made 22 starts. The next year, 30, then 24, 31, 32, 32. So there was a stretch.
And then he broke.
Right. And that included consecutive Cy Young awards.
And now we're dealing with that. So like that's why the whole conversation around this dude has just been healthy. Like healthy. Can he pitch? And that he's almost my Byron Buxton on the mound, right? Like, who can I give 12 years of complete and total clean health to? And what does that career look like? I mean, Jacob deGrom has got to be that dude, because we're now on the back end of a 4-year window where the dude has made no more than 15 starts in a year. It's like, I want to see that dude, the starts that you just rattled off, Jayhay, from when he showed up, 22 starts, 30 starts. I want to see that for 12 years. And then you want to know what now we're talking about Jacob deGrom being an inner circle Hall of Famer.
I mean, he's only thrown 1,300 innings pitch and change in his career, which is more or less the same number of innings as Mariano threw in his career. I mean, it's just in terms of like per inning pitch or per start or whatever metric you want to use, like Jacob deGrom is as dominant a starting pitching force as we've ever seen in this sort of limited sample. Like he may, as long as he's like ambulatory moving forward, he's going to have an interesting Hall of Fame case almost regardless, because this is separate. Like, we're now on a tangent, but like, he's already at 40 plus wins above replacement, and he's barely been available over the last 3 or 4 years. Right. And so, I don't know. To me, I'm assuming that he's going to be awesome or very, very good when he pitches. And that to me makes him obviously so interesting for a team that is very likely going to be in the wild card or division hunt, because he's not like, you know, we talk about like some of these older guys, like how available will they be? Like, to the point that you guys have made, he is dominant and like a weapon that really no other team has in the way that he's potentially able to be deployed or limited or whatever.
So then the responsibility, or he's going to need help, I should say. I don't want to put the responsibility on. He's going to need help from the other guys in that rotation, because they're going to have to eat the innings that allow the bullpen to be a contributor, so that those starts that he is making are valuable. And that's kind of what I meant by, are we assuming that there's a sustained level of success coming from this Rangers club that these starts are going to be important, are going to be impactful?
I think this offense is going to be great. I mean, Jared?
I was going to mention, drawing the comparison to a Clayton Kershaw, where like I want deGrom to be a part of it. Like if we see a season where he makes 29 starts, but then is out of gas by the playoffs and is, relegated to a bullpen role or isn't healthy enough to take the ball, period, then like that's not scratching my itch for, seeing the deGrom comeback. I would rather him make 18 starts and then be deGrom for the playoffs than have a full season of health and then not be available in October.
I wonder, and I think we all know the answer, but I wonder if you were to say to Jacob deGrom, you know what, man? You're going to be able to take the ball 32 times this year. There's a strong likelihood that the wear and tear you experience will keep you out of the conversation to make postseason starts. But you might be able to replicate that same season next year as well. I wonder what he would take. If you could hand him 32 healthy starts and help his team get to the postseason, but not be able to contribute, would he take that?
What's the other option?
You make your 19 starts. There could be injuries and you might be available for the postseason.
I think he would take the latter, because it's like he's got the 2 Cy Young awards. He's got the hardware. So I get you still need to get to the postseason, but I think he could also look at his situation with his teammates and say, we're good enough to get in if I make 19 starts. If we have 19 starts of Jacob deGrom and I'm Jacob deGrom, then we're getting in based on that and what I think everyone else is capable of. And then I want to be healthy to take the bump in October, because that's why they're paying me all this fucking money.
So Evaldi, Bradford, right? That's why I say I want those games to matter for Jacob deGrom. I need there to be a sustained level of success occurring for this Rangers club for Jacob deGrom to give baseball fans what we're talking about right now.
I love a good impromptu Jacob deGrom discussion.
He's fucking nasty, man. He's so nasty.
Yeah, you know what else is nasty? The behavior of the Seattle Mariners.
Oh my. Talk about Justin Turner in your head on a guy.
Yeah. Justin Turner, was this just in print or was there an audio of this? I've only read the quotes.
Yeah, I've only read the quote too. I didn't hear it anywhere.
Yeah, I think it's just in print. But here's what he said. Honestly, as much as I want it to be back there, if I was the only piece they brought back in, I would be saying the same thing. What the hell are you doing? Are you trying? There's not going to be a better time to go for it, so I don't know what they're doing. I'm very confused. It's a head scratcher for me. I told them several times this offseason, you have a unicorn of a pitching staff. This might be the best 5 starting pitchers in the history of the game. So,
I mean, initial takeaways are...
He also said there's never going to be a better time in the history of that franchise to have added a couple of bats to make a run than this year, and they missed it. Did they miss it, or did they just not even really try? I don't know.
Well, that's coming from, there's a couple different ways you can go here. If you're looking at this from the Justin Turner perspective, they never even tried.
Right.
But if that's the case, they didn't miss it because they weren't looking for it. Or did they just realize all of a sudden, shit, you know what? I feel like we probably should have added some guys, and now I don't think those guys are out there anymore. Like, that would be missing it. But they never tried.
So I think the one bat that they were linked to, at least early on, was Alonso, and he didn't want to go there. So I think we can give him a pass on Alonso. But beyond that, it's like, Santander, you couldn't get anything done there. I mean, he was out there for a while and he ended up going to the Blue Jays, who were in a worse situation.
Yeah, they definitely don't have the horsepower on the mound to entice you, especially if you're an offensive piece that feels like you can come in and make a difference, because that's what you're doing as a starting
5
pitcher.
for 90?
Who's Santander?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 5 for 90.
That's too rich for the Mariners' blood. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, that and again, as a starting pitcher, you're looking at the lineup going, if
Not
I'm
enough.
a free agent, can I land here? Ah, man, I don't know. If you're a position player, you want to look at the rest of the lineup because you'd like to see who ahead of you or behind you is going to help make you better. How long is this lineup going to be with me in it? But on the flip side of that coin is, are we going to be able to prevent runs from scoring as well? So whatever offense I'm about to join, do we have the ability to outpower our opponent based on what we're running out there on the mound? And the answer is an unequivocal yes. Are you confident in your pitching staff if you're looking at this Mariners roster? But outside of that, we all know you have to score at least one run to win the game. And it's got to be at least one run more than your opponent scores.
If you wait, Jayhay, I know that this is kind of like a deep dive question now at this point, but the perception for a long time was that Seattle was a place where bats go to die. Is that still true, or do we not really? Is it impossible to tell because they haven't really had a prolific, like, offensive player there? Like, I guess you could say J-Rod, but like, it's hard to tell when you have like an actual, because J-Rod grew up and came up in the system. I'm talking like the Seattle Mariners. When Adrian Beltre went there, it was like, fuck, like that's the example.
So the short answer is yes. It is still a place where offense goes to die for the most part. The 3-year rolling run scoring park factor for Seattle is the lowest of any team in Major League Baseball. So that gives you an example that it's still a very, very brutal run scoring environment. What it is not as hard on as it used to be, and that's the key phrase, is home run suppression. It used to be absolutely catastrophic for home run suppression, and now it's just no good for it. It's below average is where it's at. So I think that's kind of the distinction that's worth pointing out. But in terms of overall, run scoring or just general park factor, it's still arguably the hardest park to hit in offensively in Major League Baseball. Arguably.
Sea level, cold air.
Yeah. Yeah, there and I'm glad Dallas just said that, because that's important. There are environmental factors that are very difficult to overcome, regardless of kind of what they do to the ballpark. So, yeah, I think they are always going to be a difficult sell for premier offensive free agents. They don't need premier pitching free agents right now, because even if Turner is overstating the case to some degree with the greatest pitching staff of all time, they are arguably, or maybe not even arguably, they are probably the best pitching staff in the American League right now, at the very least, and good enough for them to win the division, even with an offense that is admittedly dragging them down. To me, so that was to your question. The one thing I wanted to say about the situation overall, I know this offseason is getting a lot of attention now with Turner's comments and fan unrest and all of that for the Mariners' lack of action. And I'm not defending that, because bringing back Polanco, I think, was their only major move, and that's not major and is just bringing a guy back. But to me, it's as much about the past half decade as it is about this particular offseason. Like, yes, the point about like, well, who are they supposed to get? Like Pete Alonso, well, didn't want to go there. Fair point. But like that's the problem with relying, and I'm not saying they were even doing this, but that's the problem with pointing out or relying on one offseason as the way to fix your problems. They had too many problems to fix in one offseason. Offensive players don't want to go there. And the lack of development of internal options is really what we're talking about here. And like, I know Cal Raleigh is a great turn of events for them, a great development find or development case, but I don't know. I just
Well,
like
it
a
feels like
Rosarena was a nice pickup last offseason. They're going to have a full season of him, presumably. Like, I don't know. I get the frustration, but I to say that it's just like this offseason is a little bit narrowed, I think.
It feels like to me, like when Ty France was there, they had an answer. They felt comfortable with what was happening at first base. When Ty France left, it feels like there just hasn't been that plug-in that they felt as comfortable with.
Well, I think we also assumed that Julio Rodriguez would do a full ascension to stardom, right? To full cornerstone offensive player stardom, who also happens to be your center fielder, which is of course an MVP candidate, and that's quite what last season was. And so maybe he's still very young. I'm not bailing on him by any means, but in order for this to work offensively, that's one of the things that probably needs to change, is that he needs to get much closer to 2023 than his 2024.
Yeah. No doubt. But I mean, I'll tell you right now, from 1 to 5, you got a challenge ahead of you, finding another group of starting pitchers 1 to 5 that can compete with those boys. Because
they better fucking go out and compete, because they had the opportunity to acquire Tristan Casas and Masataka Yoshida, which would have added instant offensive production.
For which of those dudes?
Yeah, you got Gilbert
was the
in
take
the
your pick.
crosshairs.
It was Castillo. It was Wu.
If they could have gotten that
Miller.
for Castillo, I would have done that.
Yeah, like they obviously they weren't trying to get Kirby. They kind of went for like the middle to the end of the rotation, and Seattle still didn't part with any of their guys. They kept their rotation intact. And like, I get, the stuff about Casas, weird dude, and he has an injury history, but if he's healthy, like you're talking about what, a 130-ish OPS plus? Like Yoshida, it's like everyone like writes him off because he doesn't play defense, and the Red Sox turned him into a fucking platoon bat, but he's a 120 OPS plus too. Like he's not like a slouch. So the Mariners had a great opportunity to sacrifice a little bit of their starting pitching depth to add some real offensive thump. And they were like, nope, we're just going to keep our arms and we're going to go out there and average fucking 2.7 runs per game and see what happens.
I mean, let's not understate the plight of the Mariners either. I mean, I know we all know this, but like we are talking about a team that has missed, I think it's 22 times in 23 seasons that they have missed the postseason. I mean, this is a lot of suffering. This is a lot of skimping on the corners from ownership. This is a lot of, foot in mouth comments from the front office, the famous 54%, trying to win 54% of the time over the long-term comments from Dipoto a couple of years ago. This is an incredibly frustrating team to root for. And, I don't love the East Coast, West Coast, like bias talk necessarily, but I do think if this exact plight was located in a more major media market, or a market that got more regular attention, it would get the credit that it deserves as being just an absolutely like heinously frustrating situation to endure over the last 2 decades. Because it's not just like abject putrid, right? Like it's not, I'm not saying one's better than the other, but like there is something uniquely frustrating about being the Mariners, who are oftentimes like seemingly on the doorstep or a move or two away from being on the doorstep, and just steadfastly refuse to kick it down every time. And like, this is obviously a unicorn, historically unique pitching staff that they have put together. And I think Justin Turner's larger point is actually correct, even if a lot of it seems kind of bombastic or whatever. I do think this might be the best opportunity that this franchise has ever had to have made a bold move. Whether that bold move existed for them to make is a separate debate, but like, this division is winnable. The AL overall is imminently winnable in a way that it really hasn't been for a lot of the last 2 decades that we're talking about with the Mariners' plight. And the floor is just so low for upgrading some of these offensive spots that like even marginal players or league average players in some of these spots would be significant steps forward for this team. And that's really all that it would take in a division where, it's there for the taking and they're right in the mix and could still win it even with all of these issues.
I think it's tough. I think it's tough for Mariners fans to swallow because they know they've got somebody that is more than willing to start dealing, folks, right? But they want to see somebody dealt in a fashion where that brings something to the table that shows them that they're willing to compete. They're trying to compete. And I wonder if it's a mild dose of apprehension to part ways with what could be very impactful pieces. But unfortunately, that's what you have to do at times, right? I like to say, scared money don't make money. So you're going to have to make a move to try to bolster yourself and put yourself in a good spot. If you're afraid of now you're watching one of these guys turn into a frontline starter. And just remember, they were probably a frontline starter on virtually any other team out there anyway. You need offense. You need to supplement the lineup. You got to pay attention to that.
If I were a Mariners fan, I would be furious. I would be, because it's such a catch-22 where you're going into a season so excited to watch one of the best rotations, if not the best rotation in the league, but then also just dealing with the same bullshit you've been dealing with for so long. And that's like, we can't hit, can't score runs. Me and Jake go out to fucking Seattle for a playoff game, standing for 18 goddamn innings, 5 hours to see 0 runs scored. It's like, hello. Like, what are we doing here? And I get it wasn't it's not like there was a slew of bats that you could have brought in, but Santander, very doable. Switch hitter, pop, clearly a hired gun. It's not like he didn't owe anything to the Orioles. There wasn't the same emotional connection between Santander and Baltimore as there is to Pete Alonso and the Mets. And 5 for 90 is nothing. That's nothing.
Well, I mean, Bregman would have been a great fit. Maybe he was never interested in going to Seattle. Maybe that was just off the table. But again, would have been a great fit here.
He wanted to come to the fucking Red Sox, Jay.
I understand. I'm saying maybe he was never interested in going. Wasn't. Yeah, that's fine. But he would have been a great fit. The Alonso thing optically is tough too, because the terms that he came to with the Mets, you're sitting there as a Seattle fan and you're like, wait, what the fuck? Like we couldn't have met those terms or even a little bit more favorable to lure him away. And like, maybe the answer is no, maybe you could not have, but you look at this team and you know what it screams? It'd be awesome to have a better first baseman or DH or somebody who could play both of those things.
I do think comfort and quality of life it means more to more players today than maybe it has in the past. Meaning I know the people here. I'm comfortable with the people here. The shit that I'd have to deal with and go through off the field. And, I just, I don't want to do that. I'm comfortable here. Like, and I look, Jose Ramirez, Jay, you're like the dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Offered quite a bit of money to go play baseball in for all intent and purposes, a more attractive place, and was like, no, I'm good. I want to be here. Sans 100,000 or $100 million less. I'll be here. Okay.
The last thing I want to say on the Seattle thing, though, before we move on.
Sure.
I just, and this is part of what's excruciating, I actually don't think, for all we've talked about how the run suppression and the offensive issues, I actually don't think the offense is, or the position player, the 1 through 9, is that far away from being exactly what it really does need to be, because Cal Raleigh is like a down ballot MVP candidate. And if we internalize that and realize that's how good he was last season and is very likely to be extremely good again, like, then things start to make a little bit more sense, because you're like, all right, well, maybe Julio's kind of a 1 or 1A or a 2, like a Rosarena and JP Crawford have proven over the years to be 2 to 3 win players over multiple seasons. Like, this lineup can make sense. The problem is that it's never going to look sexy because of the run suppression stuff. So you have to know that kind of going in, that it's even a good offense is going to look like an average offense or worse in Seattle. And secondly, they just need help at first base and DH. And I just don't know necessarily where that comes from. In theory, it could be easier to acquire than having issues at some other spots. But like the Luke Raley, Mitch Haniger kind of like combo platter is just not going to be good enough for a team that does need still to generate offense out of those spots.
And let's, I mean, not to beat this horse, but what you got from JP Crawford in 23, right? Where he had more than doubled his single season homer total when he hit 19 or 20, right? Drive line, got the power in the swing. Well, there was a significant step back last year. Injuries, but a significant step back from the offensive production he experienced in 2023. So you now have a guy that you were relying on towards the top of that order to do some things that just weren't happening. They're just, it feels like you put one foot in front of the other and then you take a step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It just, you said it, Jared. If I were a Mariners fan, I would be extremely frustrated.
No doubt. Because it's a catch-22. Like there are fans of teams that are going into their seasons in much worse positions. It's like your team has no shot. And those fans have just kind of accepted their fate where it's like, yeah, you know, we got no shot. It is what it is. It's almost a more calming sense where you just understand, yep, not our fucking year. Next year, not either. But if you're a Mariners fan, you've got to be sitting there saying, what are we doing? Like exactly what Justin Turner said is how I would feel if I were a Mariners fan. Look at this rotation. The time is now. What are we waiting for? If we're ever going to spend, now would be the time to do it. And we haven't done it. Or to make the bold trade, like Jayhay said. Like it's, and I'm not even like sitting here saying, why didn't you take the Red Sox offer? Because I get, you know, there are concerns with Casas and his health. And there are concerns, I guess, with Yoshida just being strictly a DH and, you know, guy can't play defense. If it's not a fit for your roster, it's not a fit for your roster. Fine. I'm not saying they should have made the Red Sox trades, but you could have handpicked a team and made a trade based on the pitching depth you have. Like who the fuck wouldn't want one of the Mariners pitchers? So have to believe that there was a deal to be made to make this team better. And it wasn't made. So yes, very frustrating, very upsetting. But
just one Fangraphs is just one source, but like to the point about where they are in the whole pecking order and how frustrating it is. Like they are 3rd in the American League in odds to make the postseason. 3rd in the American League, and the only teams in Major League Baseball with more World Series equity than the Seattle Mariners going into the season per Fangraphs are the Dodgers, Braves, Yankees, and Phillies. Okay, that's it. So like this is as good of a shot as the Seattle Mariners as an organization really have ever had or tend to get as a team. And
that's strong. That is strong. I mean, I'm trying to think of because it is clearly weighted based on the projections from the mound.
mm-hmm.
For clearly. But that's how ridiculous this staff is. That is how ridiculous this staff is. There's 3 divisions in the American League, and they sit at, what'd you say, Jay? 3rd?
Yeah, they sit 3rd in the American League in odds to make the playoffs, and they sit tied for 5th in baseball in odds to win the World Series.
Tied for 5th. We're just discussing a team right now who has an offense that has been in the witness protection program.
Yep.
And that team has the 5th best odds in baseball based on their rotation.
The only team in the AL with higher odds to win the World Series right now per Fangraphs is the Yankees.
and
now these are marginal gains over other teams. Like the Rangers are right behind them at 4.4%. So like,
sure,
to some extent I'm overstating the case, but also like, I think like it's still second. It's still like these other teams above and below them behaved a certain way for the most part. They behaved another way, and it does stick out.
And isn't it fair to say that the other teams that are in this conversation have an offense that looks significantly different than the Mariners?
For sure. Almost universally.
Where are the Red
So-
Sox?
The Red Sox are at 4.1%. So in the AL, they're behind only the Yankees, Mariners, and Rangers.
Okay.
So a combination of a great pitching staff and a
That's World
lineup that
Series,
was supplemented with a guy over there at third base.
It sounds
That
like
team.
the Mariners offense could use some better help.
Or their fans.
Fans could too. Coincidentally, Baseball is Dead is sponsored by BetterHelp. And we love BetterHelp. Think about your favorite leaders, mentors, and idols. They don't always have all the answers, but they do know when to ask questions or seek support from their community. In a society that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better when we have a support system behind us. Therapy can be a source of support for any area of your life. It's time to shift the focus from doing it all to knowing that we're better when we ask for help. When I was out in Arizona, met my therapist for the first time. Friday night. We've been online only the entire time, but she's out in Phoenix. Told her I was coming out for spring training. She's like, come on by the office. Let's do it in person. I was like, I haven't done in person in 6 years. Since before the pandemic. That was my first in person. But yeah, it took me 2 hours to explain why I have to lock my doors on road trips when Dallas is there. Did a whole session on it. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable and convenient, serving over 5 million people worldwide. Access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. Easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/baseball today, and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/baseball. Whew. Okay. We mentioned Slab Lab earlier in the show, and the newest episode of Slab Lab features none other than Mason Miller.
Yeah. Thunder.
And when we were at A's camp, got to talk to Brent Rooker, got to talk to the Law Dog,
Sure did.
Zach Geloff.
Mm-hmm.
But we
JP
set
Sears.
up JP. Well, you talked to Sears. We didn't have him for BID.
Right.
We had set up along the right field line, which that's where the A's come out and toss. So they had to walk past us. And I'm standing there, and all of a sudden, I see a tall drink of water walking my way.
Your heart started to flutter.
The way that I looked at him, I bowed down. It was because I don't know if the listeners at home remember, I've literally dreamed of this moment.
Yeah.
I had a dream that I met Mason Miller, and that dream came to life on this trip.
Doesn't happen to everyone, kid.
No, it doesn't. So I was very excited to finally realize my dreams and meet Mason Miller. And just like in my dream, he knew my name. And that's very cool.
And how big is he?
Oh my God. Abnormally big. He's like, yeah, like that's what added to the dreamlike feeling of it, is seeing him being like, oh, like that's not how big humans normally are.
It's just
Very
it's
large
an
individual.
it's an uncomfortable big. It's like him and fucking and Skeens and Glasnow. Like, dude, get away. Stand
Yeah.
over there.
I know you didn't get to meet him, but Crochet is also a scary, large human being.
No, why? I've met him. I met him when he was with Chicago.
Okay. Very
Yeah,
like
and
Crochet, Skeens, Mason Miller, humongous human being.
Yeah, Crochet looks like, yeah, they're just like XL humans. You know what I mean?
Like Crochet, if this were, several hundred years ago, like he's like the hunter gatherer. He's the guy that goes out and slaughters the sheep to bring back the wool.
Yeah,
he's the
dude out there. Yeah, he's the dude out there
cutting down
just
the wood that you get all the fucking trees to make your log cabins. He's the guy that's doing that.
Yeah, he's out there shirtless in his buffalo loincloth with a fucking Bowie knife in his mouth.
Yeah,
doing all kind of fucking random shit, tanning deer hide, and he definitely gives those vibes. He's got like a gold stake claim somewhere in the hills.
Yeah. Like before there were elected presidents, they were kind of just like, this is the guy that runs this town. he would run the town.
Yeah. He's so you're the sheriff?
Necessary.
Not the sheriff. Oh, so they didn't appoint you? Didn't need to.
Are we talking sheriff? Sheriff in Norwalk ready to chime in?
I'm sorry?
What's that?
Sheriff.
The sheriff of Norwalk?
The sheriff of Norwalk. He's talking about himself.
But where is Norwalk? Why am I not getting this?
Is that a podcast cut that's too deep for somebody who's on the podcast? All right.
Where is Norwalk?
I'll lay out then. What? It's in Connecticut. It's where I used to live in Connecticut.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. Put some respect. Like a lot more than what you're.
A lot more. Yeah. Speaking of respect, Jayhay, Dallas, are you gonna let him sit there and wear that Pirates hat like that?
What? No. Hey, you know what? What I'll do right now is I will give Jayhay the opportunity to do one of two things, because I think that's really the only opportunities you're gonna have in front of you right now. With the way that you melted in camp in Bradenton, the way that you just started espousing your love and adoration for the organization, for its players, for its employees, because we're talking about my shipmates here, pal. That's who we're talking about. And you've done nothing but lower morale on this fucking deck ever since we brought you on. So now you got an opportunity. You can say sorry, you can face your shipmates, and you can say thank you for allowing me to get right with the Lord and find a place in my heart that I belong on this ship. Thank you for allowing that to happen. Or you have the opportunity to go John Cena right now. Maybe not even go John Cena full heel, because you've been the heel already. You have an opportunity to stick to it and burn that fucking hat and burn it in front of me. Because it's really the only two routes you can go with the program you've been laying down here. So what is it going to be? Are you locking arms in solidarity with the rest of your shipmates? Or is this just an absolutely scumbag ploy to try to connect with Pirates fans? What is it? Who are you, Justin Havens, if that is your real name?
Go fuck yourself!
Oh, it's definitely a scumbag ploy.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I'm definitely not burning the hat. It's way too nice.
It's a nice hat.
Yep. Shout out to Jimmy T for the hat. I do appreciate it. Definitely guided me right on that. But no. I mean, listen, had a great time at Pirates camp. I thought the players we spoke with were great. Kutch, Mitch Keller, Jared Jones, Paul Skeens. Thought we were treated in a fantastic manner by everybody that we ran into from a staff perspective on the Pirates. On the whole, it was an incredibly pleasant day. But that doesn't mean I'm going to stop holding the front office and ownership to to a standard that I set and that I establish. And you will never hear me criticize the PR department, and you will never hear me criticize the sort of men that Paul Skeens, Jared Jones, Mitch Keller, and Andrew McCutcheon are.
All right. So you calling them shitbags right after we left, that didn't mean anything? Like you didn't, that was just.
No, I was saying, I think
emotion.
I was communicating that my stomach hurt.
Oh, okay. Because I was sitting down with these shit bags, and we got.
I think I needed a shit bag, is what I said.
Gotcha. All right.
I needed it.
I think my tummy was bothering me.
Yeah, that's probably what it was.
I love Bradenton. Shout out.
Great place to be.
One. Yeah.
Come on, buckle
any
in.
other baseball news and notes that you want to hit on, Jayhay? Did anything stand out to you?
Yeah, I mean, one outing is one outing, and it was a short one at that. But
Roki.
I think we at least have to acknowledge that the first taste of Roki Sasaki was pretty tantalizing. And I know we talked offline at some point during spring training. I don't remember where we were going, but just like this idea that getting right or getting fixed or getting back on the right path, velocity and stuff wise, health wise, was the driving factor for him in speaking with teams. And the fact that his very first time out, he was showing a lot of great things, but among those, a pretty devastating splitter that looks like it's going to more than play and maybe be top of the league type of stuff. That's about as good as it can be, right? Like,
can we just dive into that a little bit?
Sure.
Just a little bit. When we're talking about what this pitch does, and we're talking about what the hitter sees, what they're picking up, what helps them or sort of forces them to make their decision on whether or not to go, whether or not to deploy a swing. Obviously, pitch movement, pitch location, being able to see the pitch out of the hand, yada, yada, yada. I want to talk about the life of this pitch and just the profile of it. So what makes the split do what it does? Well, it's a pitch with a low spin rate, and that allows gravity and the tumble effect to take place. And when I read this article, I almost had to like wipe my eyes. Like, hold on, what? But it matches up perfectly because Jayhay, you and I have had these conversations where you'll say a number and I see it in my head and I'm like, oh, this is what's happening, or is this what's happening? And you're like, well, fuck, wouldn't you know it? Looking at the pitch out of the hand, you're going, that is not like anything I've seen, man. Like, that looks different. That just looks and feels different. And well, the reason is because it is to a tune of almost it being half the pitch that the average pitch looks like in Major League Baseball. What am I getting at? The Major League average splitter spin rate last season was 1,302 RPMs. Sasaki's spin rate on Tuesday, 519. He is killing over half of the revolutions per minute on a pitch that the league is comfortable with or is on average expecting. So he is throwing a pitch that quite literally spins more than or less than half as much as the other pitches that these guys are seeing. That is ridiculous. And per the article, his four splitters, like the punch outs on the four splitters, came on splits that had RPMs or spin rates of 570, 542, 403. That's damn near a knuckleball. 584. That is fucking ridiculous. And now that I scroll down, it says that's almost like a knuckleball. It is ridiculous. It's quite literally stuff that these hitters have not seen. They have not seen. So when I talk about these guys building a Rolodex based on the pitches that they're seeing and the profiles that they're used to, because these guys are at a stage now with the technology where you can give numbers that identify a pitch profile, and they've got a pretty good idea of the shape of that pitch, what it looks like, where it's going to start, where it's going to finish. You give these numbers to these guys and they're going to go, hold on, what? what? Like, that doesn't make much sense. Yeah, I know. And that's why you're seeing the swings. That's why you're seeing the reaction to the pitch that you are seeing, is because it is an alien. It is completely foreign. They have not seen anything like this.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And
And
the
they,
other
and
the
they
other thing
could,
on
and they
top
could
of
use
that
a
is the
good break.
velocity.
You know, the Dodgers.
Yeah, should this fall their way, Jayhay, I think they've got a shot to
Finally
make
a
some noise in
bounce.
that division.
Yeah.
It's about time they got a weapon in that rotation.
Let me give Red Sox Nation a little love too, if we can, because
Okay.
I was ridiculed for taking Garrett Crochet over Spencer Strider in the redraft, even though I then went on to win that redraft, no problem. I just I could not be any higher on everything about Garrett Crochet this season. The fit with Boston, the vibes in surrounding him, and most importantly right now, the results that he's getting in spring training. I believe we're at 14 strikeouts and 6 hits allowed and 6 1/3 innings pitched in spring training so far in 3 outings. So I don't know exactly where he sits on odds to win the AL Cy Young, but if you're looking for people who are not Scooble to do that, I think this is shaping up to be an absolutely monster season for Crochet, and the sooner they get that extension done, I think the better for the Boston Red Sox.
Everyone. Mhm.
Jayhay,
Everyone.
Jared,
Well, everyone. Yes.
what if
everyone.
Jared, is there any anticipation that you may or may not, along with Red Sox Nation, I don't want to call it Christmas per se, but could there be a gift under the proverbial opening day tree waiting for Red Sox Nation, Jared?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Dallas. There was some murmuring in the scoop shop about this. What was that? Yesterday or the day before, Jake? Yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. Again, the validity to me, it's, I need a second source. But the fact that it's being talked about, it gets me a little excited. But I need to hear it from other sources as well.
What if I told you my source? You think that would-
You got a source on this one
Well,
too?
I'm not good. I mean, I can't give. I'm not going to publicly give you. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I feel like
right.
that's all. I mean, because we're teammates.
Yeah. Right.
That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm out here promoting the shit out of the Slab Lab, so I feel like at this point you should do me a solid and be like, "Hey, here's the info that I got."
No, look, I am more than confident that I don't know anything more than you would know about this specific situation.
Okay. Yeah, I would put it at a gentle whisper yesterday, because people are asking if the streets were talking, because I said the streets are talking right before the trade went down. The streets there's a little bit of whispering going on, but it's not like 5-alarm fire right now.
But whisper, hey, there's something about a whisper. There's something about a whisper, and I for the folks listening, boys, for boys listening, let me give you a little solid here. Let me do you a solid. The next time you go and order a beverage, whatever your beverage of choice may be, I want you, if there's a if there's a mixer in that beverage, I want you to request that mixer to be just a whisper. So it would go like this.
Oh, yeah.
I want a Tito soda with just a whisper of cranberry. Because, Jared, what I've learned is whispers keep them coming back, right?
Yeah,
and sometimes
I've seen you order it.
and Jay, what do you can't deny it, Jay. You can't deny it.
Can I just get a whisper of cranberry?
So I'm just saying, a whisper could turn into a shout.
Yeah, this guy orders whipped cream on the bottom of his fucking
every day
lattes, whatever it is,
mocha fraps,
frappuccinos.
Yeah, that's it. Get it right.
Whipped cream on the bottom.
On the bottom, please.
Like his little mocha with his big straw,
giant straw, huge straw.
Asshole.
Too much
He's got
straw.
his
I could have cut that thing in
dinky-ass
half.
Frappuccino, and I get the Trenta, the jug of coffee, and they give us a little straw and a big straw. And he took the big straw and put it in his little ass drink, so that my little ass straw will go.
Never
in my
heard
big ass
anybody
drink.
pull up to
swallowed
Starbucks.
up by that.
Can I have a porta potty full of coffee, please? Like just a massive. What do you have back there? Give me that. Can you just actually inject this line into me? How long will it run? I'm about 6 miles away. Just hook
At
me
this
up.
stage of my life, I need it. Also, I was going to throw a tweet out there since we're at the end of the show now. I was going to throw a tweet out there yesterday. Maybe the listeners of BID can help me out. The tweet was going to go something like this. So I have like a chubby friend by the name of Dallas that's trying to cut some LBs, but he really loves chocolate and sweet treats. What are the fats out there eat for sweet treats that like quell their cravings for chocolate and candy and things of that nature? He's a little embarrassed to ask the question. So what is there?
That's weird. I'm actually allergic to chocolate, so I've never.
I didn't say it was you. You're not the only Dallas.
Oh,
yeah, my buddy from Saugus.
Well, I'm sure they'll have something for you. I don't know that that's something you should be dabbling in, though, buddy.
What do you mean?
Or your friend Dallas, I meant.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should probably think twice about that.
Well, he quit drinking soda and is cold turkey cutting out candy and snacks like that.
But his insatiable appetite for the fried fingers, the fried chicken tendies, like it's that's a hurdle that has yet to be cleared from what I've understood.
Yeah. But he's been drinking just water, which is hard for him.
Along with 43 liters of coffee every morning. So I worry about the guy.
It's cold brew. It's only 10 calories.
You know, he just said he's on the bounce back from TJ. I need him.
Yeah.
Like right now, what he's doing, I feel like he's throwing his bullpen entirely too aggressively. That's what I think is happening.
No, I think he's taking care of the shoulder now. He's doing arm care that he wasn't dabbling with before, and that's how you get clipped.
Well, I just want to make sure that the workload is something that's tolerable. Okay,
it's a different kind of workload. I don't know that it's any less aggressive. It's just I think it's more conducive to shoulder health.
I was going to say they're doing great things with hydrotherapy these days. So
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hope your friend can get this figured out.
I hope he just is able to find some sort of like sugar-free,
chocolate,
fat-free chocolate alternative, because
fat-free
going raw dog, no chocolate when you're just crushing you're crushing Halloween candy every day.
You need to look up Saris chocolate. Sarris. Saris. Incredible.
What do you got?
Incredible. They got chocolate covered pretzels. They got, buddy, it's phenomenal. Phenomenal chocolate.
I'll let them know.
Phenomenal.
It's sugar free, fat free?
Milk chocolate. Probably not.
So then why would my friend want to eat this?
But it's really good.
It sounds like this is exactly what he's trying to get away from.
I don't know. Well, I feel like your friend makes plenty of poor decisions throughout the day that he this would be what he'd be comfortable making.
Not this week. Not this week. 2 days strong. No candy, no soda for my friend.
Starting over. Good. Would you start on Tuesday? What's today? Oh no. So when you started this, he started this on Tuesday.
He started this on Tuesday because he just got back from a trip. And he realized that he needs to make some changes after that. And so I'm supporting him. I'm just
Monday
because
just
he doesn't get out much. So he was like, hey, can you put this out on your podcast? You have like reach to people, and just let me know what people say. And I was like, I can do that for you, brother. No problem.
All right. So if you out there have an inside track on some chocolate that won't get Jared's friend any fatter than he already is, which we got seams fighting for their life right now. Please feel free, drop a line. My fat or our fat friend, Jared's fat friend needs some help.
Yeah. He's just trying to better himself is all.
Yeah, that's it. That's good. Hopefully we can get that taken care of.
Yeah.
I saw your friend at dinner throw a few extra tails on the plate. Maybe
Yeah.
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 Sir, do you just want to order the whole school of lobster?
Listen,
we typically have a backup tank running if you need.
Fatties aren't eating lobster.
Listen, I'm looking for a steak, and do you have a steak and 4 tails option?
Option. Yeah, I think that dinner my friend had the steak, like 4 lobsters, some shrimp, lobster mac and cheese, and mashed potatoes. That was a low point for him.
At one point, I thought I saw the meat sweats start to seep out. It was that could have just been the full sweat required to power through that meal. But either way,
you had a nice bed to sleep that one off, though.
He did, yeah.
Oh yeah, he.
Yeah.
Oh.
My bad, you. I meant he.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just had the salad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yep.
You got any final thoughts, Jayhay?
Jose Quintana to the Brewers.
Yeah,
finally finds a home.
Weird that it took this long.
Yeah, a little weird. He seems like he'll have a place there, and just I don't have much to say about that other than he'll provide depth that they needed. But every win could count in the NL Central as they battle against the Cubs and probably just the Cubs. But
how about Jose Iglesias hitting .337 with an .830 OPS in 270 or 291 plate appearances last year and couldn't even get a big league deal.
Yeah,
it's taken a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, even the Padres deal is a minor league deal. I mean, I guess that
big league money in it, though.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that he signed a minor league deal or whatever doesn't necessarily mean that there wasn't a major league offer at some point. Maybe it wasn't the major league offer that he wanted, and then he didn't get one after that. But it would certainly suggest that the baseball community mostly views the production, at least, as a stone cold fluke.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 3.1 WAR last year, which is a career high. It was his age 34 season.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a feel good story within a singular season. I mean, I'm sure he's personally frustrated at the lack of a more substantial situation, but that does seem to be an area, the Padres are a team, it would seem, where he could potentially carve out some playing time. Not obviously as the starting option at any of those positions, but that team needs depth very, very badly, which is why they're signing Jose Iglesias in the first place.
He's had such an interesting career.
It's fascinating.
He's been a lot of different places. He's made an all-star team, but has just kind of been viewed as a supplemental guy. He's played full seasons. He was a full-time option for, what was it, the Reds? Played every day for the Reds. He was supposed to be the shortstop of the future for the Red Sox. Like, he was the next big thing until he wasn't. Got flipped pretty quick. He was the runner-up for Rookie of the Year.
Well, I always remember the conversation because it was Kinsler who told me that it was Petey who was like, "Hey, be ready. This fucker's quick over there." Like when he went to Detroit,
Yeah.
Like, hey, be ready. Those hands are quick.
Ball's
The
coming.
dude is elite over there.
Yeah.
He gets to everything and shit gets on you quickly at the pivot. So be ready.
Watch the shuffle. But yeah, I mean, that's going to be frustrating because I think in 2023, he didn't even play in the big leagues. He was stuck in the minors, right?
Yeah. I
He
mean,
was stuck in the minors all of 2023, comes back, gets a job with the Mets in 2024, has a career year in terms of wins above replacement. And not just like a career year, like, oh yeah, like his best season was 0.6, and then it was 1.1. So it's technically career year. Like he was a 3-win player last year.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes, that's frustrating. I mean, I just think it speaks to where the game is at in terms of player evaluation and particularly late career kind of seemingly fluke seasons like this. And the reality that Jose Iglesias has had 4,000 plate appearances in his career before last season and had a 701 OPS and an 88 OPS plus. So I think it is perfectly fine for teams to view last season, which was 291 plate appearances, as the high water
Aberration.
Yeah, an aberration. And I think it would be a mistake for a team taking itself seriously in 2025 to sign Jose Iglesias to be a starting 400 plus plate appearance type of player. We or at least I would be criticizing them from the other side.
Sure.
If that's what a real team was doing. He is a bench player. And I think to have a resurgent season at age 34 after being not at the major leagues in 2023 and being really, really ineffective in 2021, for that career year to get you another opportunity the next season, I think is an okay outcome and not totally unfair for the situation.
What would you say? Would you guess Jose Iglesias's career earnings come in at right now?
Oh boy. It's a great question. Not one I prepared for. I would say $25 million.
Dallas?
Oh man. Jeez. Jay, I think you're probably right. I think you're probably close. I'm going to say 32.
37.5.
Rock on.
But that does not include 2024 for some reason. I don't know why Baseball Reference wouldn't have that.
Wow. So he'll be pushing right up there about $40 million in his career.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good for him.
Pretty good haul. I mean, probably not what he would have expected at the start of his career with all the hype, but still pretty good considering what he ended up being.
Pretty good.
Dallas, final thoughts?
Mike Trout showing a little thump here early in spring. Oppo pop yesterday, jump ship. Just good to see Trouty swinging the bat, healthy. That's all. As much as we talk about everything that he's gone through here, you know what? He's healthy. He's hitting homers.
Hell yeah. Redrafts will be back next week.
Year?
Say that again?
Do we have a year?
I don't know. Do we, Jayhay? No. We didn't pick a year after the last time we did it. Are you sure?
Pretty sure, but I'm not 100% sure.
1997.
And do we have an order?
Oh, yeah, that's
You,
right.
me, Joe,
right.
Jayhay.
All right.
Yep. We are doing the 1997 MLB redraft next week.
Also the 2012 Cy Young.
2012 Cy Young discussion. That's coming at you next week. Also, Shane Bieber is Dallas's guest on Slab Lab next week. Is that dropping what, Tuesday?
I believe so. Tuesday.
If you haven't already checked out, Mason Miller was this week, and the week previous, Tarek Skubal. The numbers are doing really great on YouTube. We appreciate everyone tuning into the Slab Lab. And big thanks to Vinnie P for coming on the podcast today.
No doubt.
Who do you want on Monday, Dallas?
Ooh. Man. Out of our... the Law Dog?
We can do a little Law Dog.
I feel like that was a great interview.
He was outstanding. I was thinking Mookie just because there might be more baseball news to cover from now until Monday, and it was a shorter interview.
Yep. I feel that.
That we could do
give a little taste of Mookie, because I know I'm waiting for the moment where you guys talk fedoras and glasses on inside. I know the fans are waiting for that, so give them that.
Sure, they can have that.
They deserve.
And then we can do Law Dog on Thursday. There'll probably be less to talk about on a back-to-back pod.
Yeah, and it's just a hilarious.
Wait, do we do 3 times a week? Or we are, right? 2
until the season.
Okay.
We ain't throwing first pitch yet, brother.
Opening day stream, March 27th. Very excited about that. Everyone's going to be in house except for Dallas.
I'll be
not to overhype that, but based on our conversations with people from Underdog about the opening day stream, I think it is going to make last year's effort look night and day. Like, I think this has an enormous amount of potential, and last year was a huge success anyway. So yeah, I would encourage everybody listening to this podcast to tell at least 5 friends about the opening day stream. Yeah,
that's your homework.
Hey, what are you 3 doing on opening day?
Stream.
Because I got to call a big league ball game.
No,
you're going to be chiming in.
You're
not doing that until 10 o'clock Eastern. You're going to be chiming into our broadcast.
Yeah, we're going to have the technology to get Dallas involved in the stream.
Yes, that's confirmed.
I think Dallas should just have like a live GoPro. Just wear a body cam. Be like, you can watch us on the stream, but like also you can just follow Dallas along for the entire day.
Yeah.
I'm going to need a cutoff switch at some point in time.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No.
There's some things.
Not confident in your stream?
What? No, I got a fucking great stream. What are you talking about?
I care.
What's the fucking the Homer Dong, or what's it called?
Yeah, the gong.
The Dong Gong.
Yeah, is that going to be there?
The Homer Dong.
I was fucking trying to I was going to call it a gong.
This guy, man.
Thing, but I forgot the Dong
Dong Gong. The Homer Dong.
Is the dong? Why? Because I couldn't.
That's
get
crazy. No, that's crazy.
No,
it's the
I
dong.
Almost just.
A lot of people saying you might get a chance to see Jared run.
Yeah, some people have said that.
There is an opening day foot race scheduled.
Some people talked about it, but
no, it was scheduled. It's sanctioned.
Yeah,
the technology. It's a little jacked up.
No, it's confirmed that we are able to do this, and we're even talking about pre-taping. Pre-taping some of them. Yeah.
And I talked to Andy Wong at Kowloon, and he's got the dinner spread after. We've cordoned off the streets. I spoke with the mayor of Saugus. We've got that quarter-mile strip right in front of the house.
The mayor of Saugus, and
we have
not talked about this. So
that's confirmed from the sheriff of Norwalk. You are speaking with the mayor.
The sheriff of Norwalk.
Yep. It's county city officials. We kind of recognize real. If Garrett Crochet signs an extension during our opening day stream, approximately how many Papagenos are we ordering?
Oh, how many people in house do we have?
Well, it'll be Jake and Jeremy and Mike and me and Coley, presumably. I haven't spoken with him about that. But Steve, I would assume, and you.
If Garrett Crochet signs the extension, if he signs the extension on opening day or just before opening, or if he signs the extension, is there a possibility that we could be streaming when that happens? There's no possibility.
Nah, I doubt it. I feel like it's gonna be like next week or something.
What if instead of taking the ball out to the mound or whatever, he just takes a piece of paper and it's his new contract and he just announces it right there.
I mean, they got something done with Bayo around this time, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. Red Sox extend.
If Crochet gets extended before the beginning of the season, I need Milky to get a ball of yarn and a crochet needle tattooed on his ass.
They
could be
got
an event
the
that we
extension
pre-tape.
done with Brian Bayo on March 7th. Today is March 6th.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
Isn't it
All right.
weird that you and I just started having this conversation, Jared? Just
Super weird, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess, you know. Jake, what do you think?
Be pretty impeccable timing if we had a live reaction to that extension.
Yeah.
You guys want to just hang out until tomorrow?
I guess why not at this point?
I got shit to do. I got children to feed.
Yeah.
You're not, you ain't feeding
Same.
shit.
Jake's takes?
Just hope Jared's whale of a friend hangs tough. I know it's a tough battle. 2 days is a good start, but it's a long journey. So just take it one day at a time.
I'll let him know. Yeah. I mean, this dude fucking loves soda and chocolate chip cookies. I heard that he went to Crumble last night
Oh,
and almost broke down in tears because
Jesus. Was
you know,
that-
he had to order Crumble for his partner's daughter who wanted Crumble really bad, and she doesn't have any money, so he had to go in to place the order and pay for it, but not get any Crumble cookies himself. And I feel bad for the guy, you know. Poor
That's
bastard.
incredible.
Yeah.
I couldn't quite make
that
out
was-
the words in that video he sent. Just in the car, it was dimly lit. I heard a lot of crunching, though. I heard
Yeah.
rapper. I'm not sure if that was
No.
him putting the bag away or.
It was admirable that he was able to power through this podcast after that.
Yeah. Well,
Or a podcast,
He's-
whatever
yeah.
one he does. Yeah.
yeah, he does. I don't think he even watches podcasts or listens or anything. So
Mhm.
Too lazy, probably.
Yeah.
yeah.
Fucking guy. Clean it up.
All
All right.
right. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then.
Wow.